everybody, and welcome. If you're new here, then I hope you enjoy and have a great time. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for all the continued support that I am getting from you. So, a lot has been going on, not a lot of fun stuff, so I figured I didn't want to do a normal flosstube update, so instead I'm going to do a WIP Parade, as I had also planned to do at the end of June. So I'm not gonna do a flosstube update and a WIP Parade, so this WIP Parade will show you where I'm at with all my WIPs, and then next time I do an update, it's from this point in time. So it's July the 1st, so 6 months of stitching is done. And there has been some really good stitching months, and there has been some less good stitching months, so a little bit of both. I have a huge list to talk about, and I have some other stuff to show you, and so on and so forth. So yeah, let's just jump into... I have been doing all the challenges this year, as you know. So I started going through my goals I originally made in the beginning on my first WIP update of the year, or end of 2018 WIP update, then end of 2018, start of 2019. And I have not been sticking to those goals. And I think about February, I decided that just gonna leave it. I'm gonna do the challenges and have some fun. And the challenges is starting to be crazy. So what I have done is basically I have this small sticky note, and these are goals that I have had for 1 or more months and haven't completed yet, so I have put them on here. My magical stitches homework goes here, so each week I will update it. We have gotten this week's homework, so I have to add that. And as I go, I basically, with these more permanent ones, I mark off with a pen, and the homework ones I mark off with a pencil so that I can erase everything at the end of the week and just write on the new ones until I feel this sticky note is used up, and I rip it off and make a new. So that's my very fancy high-tech way of keeping control of everything. So yeah, and that one is constantly changing and rotating to try and make the sticky notes last a little bit longer, because in the beginning I was going through them 1 or 2 a month, and some I don't really have to change that much if I just write it with pencil. So that's what I figured I was going to do. And since I went through my goals and I wasn't like happy with what I have done, I made this WIP Go board, or it's not really a WIP Go board, Jessie Marie's brainchild. So I have called this Goal Go because this is basically the goals I want to do before 2019 is done. Some of them has like 3 days goals, 5 days goals, and a lot of them have finished goals. So in the middle here you have page 7, 8, and 9 on my Lady and the Tiger, and SK Butterflies Galore. And when this is finished, I am actually going to have a new start that isn't planned or have stitch started. But more about that later on. First off, I thought that I would do the start and finishes I had for 2019 that I started in 2019 and ended them in 2019. So first off is this little tree ornament. I used 2 days on finishing it in January, and the reason I could start this and finish this is because I'm going to use it as a gift, a Christmas gift. So I am most likely going to cut it up, back it with some felt, and write baby's first Christmas on the back or something. Either felt or some paper. So yeah, that's that one. Then I have Max. It's the dog from Ariel. It was started and finished in 1 day in January. And this is either my coaster project or I'm going to use it as a gift. I haven't decided quite yet what I'm going to do. But in both cases, this will be turned into a coaster, basically. So that's why I could start that one. Because I am doing no new starts 2019. Then I did I've totally forgotten what it's called, where I stitch for a designer. And this is the Epic Pokemon Generation 2. The starter Pokemons by Key Warning or 8-Bit Stitch. You can now actually buy these from her shop on Etsy. And they were started and finished in February, where I used 2 days. Then I finished starter Pokemons for Generation 4, also by K Warning or 8-Bit Stitch. In March, same, used 2 days to finish them off. And these ones I also have fully FF Ode. And hold on, more space. It's full around me with everything. Then it's a little bit bigger one. This is a gift, or going to be a gift. I started in... I've written down the dates wrong. So yeah, I don't remember when I started it, but I finished in April. April? No, May. And this is Winnie the Pooh quote. Bought it on Etsy from someone. And I'm going to turn it into a baby sampler, but the baby is not born for 1.5 months. If it doesn't come early, and it might look like it can come early, so I'm glad I have finished most of the work there. And then I started and finished a bookmark in May. It's Celtic Leaves from Across Stitch magazine, and these were individual, and I just picked out 3 that I liked and I put them on here. And this is going to be our Christmas gift. So okay, that's done. I will just change around a little bit and be right back. Okay, so Before we dive into the really fun WIP Parade, I actually made an overview over how many months in these 6 months I have stitched on each WIP, and then saw at the statistic, and there is actually 4 WIPs I haven't touched. One of them is have been, I don't like the word UFO because it stands for unfinished objects, and all my WIPs are unfinished objects that I'm working on. Just the UFOs I'm not currently working on, so I have called it a break. I have put it in break. 2 WIPs so far is on break, and I'm not thinking about pulling them out at all this year, and not going to try and use them for challenges. One of them I did because it was a crazy challenge, and I didn't want to do that challenge with a WIP that I really love because I was afraid I was going to hate it. so yeah, but we'll come to that when those WIPs comes up. There is 7 WIPs that I have worked only 1 month on, and this is not days. So some might have gotten 5 days in 1 month, and some might have gotten 2 days in total over 2 months. So it's just an estimate. The most important one for me is to see the ones I haven't worked on at all, how many WIPs that have been. So, and there is also only gotten 1 month. There is also 1 WIP that is started after 2019, because the WIP started after 2019 is not on my list for reels yet. And I have 9 WIPs I only have worked 2 months on, and plus 1 that is started in 2019. And the reason I also divide before and after 2019 is because some of the 2019 ones I haven't had for 6 months, so it's not fair to really say that I only worked 1 of 6 months on that one when that's not the case. 3 of 6 days, so half of the months, I have worked on 5 WIPs, and 1 that is from 2019. 4 of 6 and 6 of 6 has 0 WIPs that I have worked on. I have not worked any WIPs for 4 months or 6 months. And lastly, there is actually 3 WIPs I have worked 5 of 6 months. And that's actually, if you think over the fact I had 3 WIPs, not counting the one I have taken on a break, that I didn't work on, and I have 3 WIPs that I have almost worked every month on, exception for 1 month. So it's not too bad, not at least for what I'm looking at. So, shall we dive into my WIPs? I am going to do them in chronological order from oldest to newest. This is my oldest WIP. It's the only WIP I have from 2014, and it's my Lady and the Tiger. And I know all of you guys really love this one. So let's start with putting a picture of where I was on this in the beginning of January. here I am now. So I have finished page 2, page 3, page 5, page 6, and started page 7. I originally said I wanted to do 3 pages on this one, and I didn't think that I could do more than 3 pages, but in all honesty I wanted to finish this, and as I have worked very hard on this one, I now see that I actually have the possibility to finish it off. So that's why that is my new goal for this one, is to finish it in 2019. And that will be nice, because then I don't have any more WIPs from 2014. So that's that one. I think that is one of the ones I have the most progress on of all my WIPs, because I really have focused on that, and I think that is a big accomplishment for me. Next up, it's my only WIP from 2015. It's the Big Baby Blanket. This one has started to fray, so I need to try and fix it. This is what it's going to look like in the end. I will insert a picture of where I was in the beginning of 2019 here. And I have to scroll this one up. This is where I'm at now. I don't know how much you can see, but yeah, you have everything that I actually stitched on there right now. This is a pre-printed fabric, so it's, as I have said before, it's really hard to work on. So I've gotten a lot of this golden brown color done on the bunny. I have done some stitching in this teddy bunny he's holding. This star is finished with the cross stitches. This star and this star is finished with the cross stitches. And I did work some on the moon. There is some yellow here and in here and around here. That is the color of the moon. So my hope is to finish the stitching around this bunny and this carrot, and backstitch those, and maybe this star also get it backstitched. And this will get some love because I am going to do bingo now in July. And the first WIP I pulled out was this one, because it really doesn't matter where the stitches are since it's a pre-gridded fabric. So all the colors, I thought that I would have enough stitches times 3 or 4 I put on the bingo wheel. And the reason I say times 3 or 4 is because if you can't do it one day, you have to do, if your number is pulled, you have to do 50 stitches. And if you can't do it that day, you have to do it the next day, and then you have to add 50 stitches, so it gets to be 100 stitches. And if you can't do that day, you actually have the third day, you have to do 150 stitches, because it's added 50 stitches each time. And I'm not planning on getting behind more than 3 or 4 days, so I think I'm pretty safe with having 200 stitches on these to do. Plus some of them, I know also I have those colors in other WIPs. So if it becomes a crisis, I can always pull that out and do those stitches, even though I'm not a big fan of that. Okay. Next up is my only WIP from 2016. That is my Epic Pokemon Generation 1. My original goal for 2019 on this was finish the 3 top rows, but since I have focused so much on Lady and the Tiger, and I will continue to do that until she is finished, that is not a realistic goal anymore. So I am more thinking of getting this first row of pages done, and I'm missing page 1 and 2. Excuse me. So this one actually have only gotten 2 months work, and one of those months were only 1 day, so I haven't worked much on this, but I will insert a picture of where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. And here I am now. So this is actually the part where I have worked. I finished Kabuto, Omanite, stitched, almost finished Gyarados, and last time I worked here on Pinsir, but I'm going to try slowly but surely. That's about the bottom half. And if I can fill in everything you see right here, that is the top half done, approximately. So there's still a lot of stitching to go, but what I realized that if I hit a place where there is a lot of blocks of colors, the way I stitch my epic Pokemon, that goes really fast, because what I basically try and do is there is about usually 2, 3, maybe 4 different colors that outlines the Pokemon. So I usually try and do those stitches first and then fill in with blocks of color. And if it then is a Pokemon that has a lot of blocks of color, it goes really fast. So I think with only like 2 hours of work yesterday, I did about 350 stitches on my epic Pokemon, so it can go fast. Next up, we are going into 2017. My WIPs that I have left from 2017. There is in the beginning of this year there were 4 WIPs. Now there's only 3 WIPs left, and one of these is also on my plan to finish. So first one out is my Story Keep Butterflies Galore. It's on Heaven and Earth design, artwork by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And while I remember, my Lady and the Tiger is stitched on 18 count Ada, and my epic Pokemon is stitched on 14 count Ada. So not very fancy. I will try and remember to say the names, the fabric types and stuff, but don't count on it too much. So Butterflies Galore, it was started at the end of October 2017. This is where it was in the beginning of the year. and here it is now. And I'm not taking it out of the hoop because the 90-day challenge in full coverage fanatics, I am going to use this one because there is so much confetti in this orange part is super confetti heavy because there are so many shades of orange, browns and stuff. These blue, purple and green, yes, they were confetti. There was a lot, but these orange one is even worse. I don't know, because it just have more different colors in there and this one doesn't. And there is also a little bit here on the side, so there is a lot of confetti. So I will do just a few stitches each day and hopefully finish it around the time I finish my Lady and the Tiger. So yeah, a little bit each and every day, and I hope to get that done in 2019. And I think it will be a good way to handle the confetti with just having to do like maybe 10 or 20 stitches a day. And if I feel like it, I will do more. If I feel like doing less, then I will do less. Next up is, and my butterflies galore is stitched on I think it's a 32 count Murano or 28 count. I can't remember. It's something between there, and that's done with 10 stitches. My only project where that is full coverage that I do 10 stitches. So next up is Mini Stall here by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Cindy Nilsson. Going to look like this. I haven't worked much on this, and I had a goal of doing one page, but that's not going to happen. I will insert a picture where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. And here I am now. This is stitched on 25 count Easy Guide Lugana 1/1 full crosses. So I originally started here in the diagonal on the right side, but I don't really like to start on the right side, so I jumped over here and have started on the left side and started to work my way over to just see that I'm in the right spot here. So that is actually what I think I am going to try and do. It is work over and see that I didn't miscount or something when jumping over. Should not be a problem since it's pre-gridded, but you never know. And my last WIP for 2017 was started the 30th of December 2017, so in reality it would be more realistic and say it's a 2018 WIP since it started so late in the year, but it is what it is. It's my Winter Queen. I will insert the picture what it will look like and where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. Here I am now. So with this one, I actually have reached the bottom edge right here of the design. And I think I have talked myself into that next time I work on this, I'm gonna fill in here. There's a lot of white and just try and fill in as best as I can down to here, and then I will work my way up to the top and work downwards, because that's the way I like best to work my WIPs, is from the top down. So that is what I'm going to try and do. And this is stitched on a 32 count Spired Belfast linen in pearl lurex, and it's just a plain white color. So this is one of the 5 seasonal queens by Mirabilia. Yes, I'm counting Royal Holiday as the Christmas queen. And I have all of them, but I have only started Winter Queen. So next up is actually what was the 4th WIP of 2017. That was also started the 30th of December 2017, and I finished it the 30th of April 2019. And it's A Legend of the Blue Sea. And the more I look at her and have her in the frame, the more I just fall in love. And I really like the effect. These white beads are really like sticking out, if you can see. But I like it. I like the effect it gives when you see it from far away. If you see it close up, it looks very bulky, but from far away that gives a nice dimensional effect. So, and I hopefully put in a picture where she was in the start of 2019, so you can see the difference, because I wasn't even finished with this full part down here. I wasn't at the halfway point, and this section, this half section, had more stitching than this section, so yeah. And I managed to finish it off in what, four days in 2019. 2 of the days I did over almost 4,000 stitches on her for Magical School of Stitches. Went gangbusters and finished her off. So that's her. And my next WIP is one of the WIPs I have put on break. So until it gets back in my WIP pile, you won't see this one. I might also end up reusing the fabric for another Heaven and Earth design that I have a bigger need to do. So, but we'll see. I'm currently not starting anything except for what I have planned, and I will tell you. So yeah, it's my freebie Maui Princess, and I am just going to insert a picture of where she was the last time we saw it, because this one I haven't worked on at all, so that will be inserted here. So, Maui Princess was originally the WIP that I started for New Year, New Start 2018. So that means we're into my 2018 WIPs. And here I think we have the bulk of my WIPs. So I have since Maui Princess is out, WIP number 7 until WIP 24, all those WIP from 7 to 24, including 24, are 2018 WIPs. So I have now 6 WIPs that are before 2018, and 18 WIPs that are from 2018, if I counted that correctly. Yes, 18. So, and I have some WIPs that I started in 2019, so we're hitting 28 WIPs in total. So yeah, let's just get into 2018. So the first one, it was started the 10th of January 2018. It's a pattern by Stitching Mommy, the Temperature Gardens. I will insert a picture of what it will look like and where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. And this is where I am so far with this one. This was the second WIP I pulled out for bingo in July. So every temperature I knew I had enough stitches off, plus ×3 or ×4 are on the bingo board, and I hope to get some good work in on this. So this one I hope to finish in 2019, because it will not be really fun continue having that one since it's the temperature for 2018. Next up is Cinderella in Rags and Riches. Originally, I started by having them separated on my WIP list, but then I found out that's stupid because I'm doing them on the same piece of fabric, so it's the same WIP. So they have turned into one WIP. I will insert the picture of what it will look like and where it was in the beginning of 2019. And here it is now. The Temperature Garden is mystery fabric, so I have no clue what it is. This is a 32 count Murano, and I hand dyed it myself. And this is where I'm at. And this one I have gotten a huge chunk of progress. The skin is done 1/1, and the designer behind this is Joan Elliott, and I just love the skin tones and how they work together on this one. So I actually even, if I zoom you in, have started a few 1/1 stitches right here, right there under the cry neck. I think that's cry neck. And that's the hand of Cinderella in Riches. So this is in Rags, and here in Riches will be. So you see this, this window is completely finished except for beads, back stitching, and metallics. So this right here is actually her hand to Cinderella in Riches. And on Cinderella in Rags, I think it's about around here, I actually have reached the second half of that pattern, because this pattern and this pattern, they're like divided in two separate pages because it's from a magazine. So I can like say it's 4 different pages to do. So this first page right here is almost completed. I have done some back stitching, but there is more to go, and there is more metallics to go, but I really love doing the metallics, so I'm kind of like saving it, because most of the metallic is in the top part and there's not that much in the bottom part. So this one I would love to go gangbusters on it and finish that one because I love so much working on it, but I think I will try and savor it because it's a nice WIP. Since I'm going to finish my Lady and the Tiger, Cinderella and Rags and Riches I know will be my go-to WIP when I really don't feel like stitching. If I'm having a really bad month, year, week, day, whatever. So kind of like save her for those bad days because she always makes me happy. Cinderella and Rags and Riches was started the 11th of January 2018. Now we are at Alice Sleeping on a Clock. That's just what I call her. It's a design by Maria Brovko. I will insert a picture of what it will look like and what it looked like in the beginning of 2019 here. This is what it looks like now. This is just 14 count Ada, hand dyed by me. I love the colors in this one, especially when I got to these brown colors and stuff. I really love how it looks. This was started in February, no, this was started the same day as Cinderella and Rags and Riches because I hurried up to get some starts before Year of WIPs. And not going to do that ever again. Not the Year of WIPs, but having several starts in one day. So yeah. Next up is Be Inspired by Stitchrovia. I know some people say, oh, it's not called Be Inspired. Yes, in the magazine it's called Be Inspired, so that is what I call it because I stitch from the magazine. I will insert the picture of what it will look like and what it looked like in the beginning of 2019 here. And this is how far I've gotten. This part most likely have to be frogged. And the last few days I've actually gotten a lot of progress on this. Since this part has been filled in, I had Magical Stitches homework where I filled in like this light blue over here. I filled in just one of the colors in the hand, one of two colors in this hand. And you can see I have done the same here, like just filling in the red. So, and then I had some more black stitching to do, 200 stitches, so I did a lot of black. And after that, it was really easy to just, if I'm sitting beside Leo in the couch or something like that, to just pull out the color and stitch without looking at the pattern because I'm just filling in. And Leo really loved it, so a bunch of the blue here, he actually participated in stitching with me, so that was fun. So he basically pulled the needle up and I used his hand to put down the needle in the hole and sew back and forth. It was a little bit slow, but that's how it is. I have changed the colors to brown in this one. The darkest brown is the brown that is already in the pattern. It's not called for right here, but it's in the pattern, so it will look better. And this hand, the darker color actually was another one, and I didn't like how it looked against this fabric. It blended in too much. It just, those two colors beside each other didn't look good at all because it was a much pinker color. So I swapped it out for a color that I thought looked better. So yeah, that's where that is at. On my bingo board, I have, of course, black and white, because there is so much black and white in my pattern. So this is one that might come out if it's been black. And I'm pretty sure, like, they have almost always, and I mean the admins that is doing the bingo event for us. I know previously when it's black and white, they have done like special events where you need to stitch a bunch of black and you can like throw stitches at other people and things like that. So having that one with a lot of black to do, plus I have a few others that there isn't a problem of doing a lot of black on, that will be good. So speaking of another pattern, there's no problem doing a lot of black one, is the next one. The Being Spired is a 14 count Ada I hand dyed myself. Started the 12th of January 2018. And you can see in 3 days I have already started 4 WIPs in 2018. The 10th, the 11th, the 11th, and the 12th, because this. And then there is a little break until February, and this is when my Alice in Wonderland series by Brook Books is started. I started with the Dormouse. So originally I just called it the Dormouse, but again, since I'm doing all of them on one big piece of fabric, I am now calling it my Alice in Wonderland series. And so yeah, I will insert a picture of what it will look like in the end, approximately, and where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. This is where I am at. And the reason I say approximately what it will look like is because I have moved around the characters and moved them around and moved them around, and now I think maybe I have moved them around to a way that I like. So and my biggest problem has been that I regret putting the Dormouse right here as pattern number 6, but I can't really move him and I don't want to rip out. So this is a huge length of fabric in 18 count that I hand dyed myself. And here I actually have worked, this is the March here is going to be right here. And here I can do a lot of black easily because 4 of these black squares is 100 stitches and they go super fast because they are blocks of color. So yeah, and I actually discovered that I have the color I originally used at the bottom of the grass here is different than this one. So those few stitches I did all the stitches under the Dormouse of that color, 779 I believe. I'm ripping those out and restitching with the color that I have kitted up, because I have kitted up a color for this whole series and I'm just not going to change it around. So that is actually, it's not often I end up finding a DMC color that is the same number that has dye lot issues in them. So this is the first one, but one of the ones I have originally started was a really old skein, I believe. So I think that's the problem with that one. But no problem. It's 70 stitches I have to rip out and restitch, and they're all in a long line, so I can just rip them out and stitch. So with this one, my plan is actually to, as you saw with the border, I can take it up so you have a visual reference. I'm going to do the checkerboards going this way, and I think this line of green right here, I'm going to continue doing this way. And as I get further and further along into the border of the next pattern in the series, I'm just going to mark it off where it starts and ends. So it will be easy for me to pick up and work on. And that way I can like work on whatever of the characters I feel like. So currently I'm working my way towards the start, and yeah, just go for there. This one is a little bit stitch what I want when I want. So next up is this first active WIP that I haven't stitched on at all this year. It is my Esmeralda by Pinky the Pink. One of the princesses she is doing. I have all of them in my stash, so I should get around to stitching it, so I can get some good work on it. So I will insert the picture of what it will look like the last time. No, I will insert the picture of what it will look like in the end. And the last time you saw it and this time you see it, it's exactly the same. So, well, one of my goals is to work on this and actually work up the diagonal, and again try to work up to the top so I can work her from the top down. That is my plan. So I have, I think in my go board, I think I have put 5 days on her. On everyone I haven't stitched on so far this year, I have put 5 days of work that I want to do. So that's what I'm going to try and do. This is a picture of this plus 38 count something, I can't remember. If there is any patterns, any fabric or patterns that I'm not explaining good enough where I have got them, what the designer is, what fabric and count it is, let me know in the comments below and I will get back to you. I just don't have everything around me. It's already chaotic around here, so I just needed to draw a line somewhere, because or else I would never do this WIP Parade or WIP Parade update, maybe more correct to say. So the Dormouse was started in 9th of February. Esmeralda was started the 6th of May, because now we are hitting Mania, so there is a lot of starts in Mania. Between there was one WIP, but I finished that in 2018. So basically you can see I got tired of starting stuff. so there was almost a 3-month period where I didn't start anything except for one WIP that I also finished. So next up on my WIP list, we have reached the end of May, the 23rd of May 2018. It's the Storytime Sampler by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And I will insert a picture of what it will look like and where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. here I am now. So I actually have gotten a lot of progress done on this one, even though I only have had it out for 2 days, something like that, 2 or 3 days. So I can see if I just focus on this and actually work on it, I can get a lot done. I think the biggest problem is I'm going to change a square, this one right here, and that kind of like stopped me from getting progress. So yeah, started the banner, started a lot of the vignettes for some challenge. So that's where I'm at on that one. So next up is the possibilities by Heaven and Earth Design. I also call it the Evolution. It was started the 28th of May 2018. And I think in total I have maybe worked 4 or 5 days. So there's not that much progress. But I have stitched since 2019. So I will insert a picture of what it will look like in the end and where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. So this one I am keeping in one of my Floss Buddy Pros. I can't remember exactly what the name of this is, but it's Bags Plus, Karina, that has made. So since this is a max color one, I'm keeping the floss. And I'm still in the bobbinating sequence. And actually here, this is not bobbinated, but I have like a piece of paper written a number on it because that one I have in another WIP. So actually my SK Butterflies Galore. So when that is finished, I can actually just put it over here. Since it's a max color, it needs a lot of color, and I just don't want to start a whole new skein just for that one when I already have that skein bobbinated. So this is stitched on a 28 count Easy Guide by Spired, and is stitched 1/1 full cross. And I'm doing the black in Anchor Black, not my favorite. I know a lot of people like the black. I don't feel it that much fuller. It's a little bit. It has effect here on this 28 count. But My Lady and the Tiger is also an anchor floss, and 2 strands over 18 count still looks, you still can see through some places. And so it's not that much thicker than the DMC. Oh, you can see it's going to be huge, and I just have this teeny tiny start. But this one isn't a priority, and most likely will not be a priority until my epic Pokemon is done. But it's nice to have in my stash to just whittle down on. And as you saw, there is a lot of black currently where I'm working. So if I need some more 310 for my bingo, I have it right here. Next up is my Joan Elliott baby sampler. It's just called baby sampler. It's going to look like this when it's done. I will insert a picture of where it was in the beginning of 2019 right here. And this is where I'm now. So this moon and this bird are fully finished, and I'm just working a little bit of time on this. It was originally meant to be my son's baby sampler, but my husband didn't like it, so oh well, I will finish it one day, but I'm not hurrying to do it. And if there ever turns up anybody having a child, and I know they will like this one, then maybe I will go gangbusters on it and try and finish it. Or I get a really big need to whip down and just finish this off, because it goes really quick when you just stitch on it. And this one was started the 31st of May. So now this is the last one in my Mania 2018. This is a 28 count Lugana, just plain white, because I thought it would look nice just on white. Next up, we actually reach something that I have finished. It's my dragon coaster project, so I will insert a picture of where it was in the beginning of 2019. And here they are now, fully finished into coasters. So they look really nice. The design is by Fussy Fox Designs on Etsy. It's originally in pink. I just converted the pinks into some pinks I had, and then I converted into blue and green. You use 3 different colors of the main color, so I just picked 3 of those that looked good. Next up is my Haunted Mansion cell by Tiny Modernist. I will insert a picture of what it will look like and where it was in the beginning of 2019 right here. And here it is now. So slowly but surely getting more and more progress, and I love this moon. I really do love this moon. So I'm currently thinking about how I can implement those red colors somewhere in the house, some of the vignettes. So we'll just see what I come up with, just so it looks a little bit more completed. So yeah, I will again just switch around and be right back. So Tapestry by Ink Circles is the next one. It was started the 29th of June 2018. I started it together with Stitching Mommy, and we had converted the floss into Victorian Motto sampler floss, some from I had in my stash and some from the Eliza Balcock cell. I will insert a picture where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. This is stitched on a 56 count Kingston linen by Extrude Design. I think the colorway is something like pale yellow. I can't remember and I can't find the name right now. But if you want, just let me know and I will find it for you. So I have actually reached the halfway point of going over. I think this pink flower right here is this right here, and that's the halfway point. So I'm halfway to go over the full width. So it's not going to be very wide because it's 56 count 1/1 full crosses. But I love how it looks, and those small stitches is amazing. So, but I have found that I need to have good light and I need to have it taut on the frame when stitching on it, or else it's really difficult to stitch on. So yeah. Next up was my birthday start in 2018. It's Stargazer by Mirabilia. And yeah, it's stitched on either 28 count or 32 count. And I can't remember because I have two fabrics in this color. One is 28 count and one is 32 count. One I did win and one I got from Fabric of the Month of Fibralicious, I believe. But I think maybe this is 28 count Hyacinth that I got from Chromatic Alchemy. I believe it was Chromatic Alchemy I won it. And I think this is the right way up. That's all I have done. I have only stitched one day on this. So this one hasn't been stitched on in 2019. So I'm just not going to show a picture of that because that's where it was the last time you saw it. So the last WIP I haven't worked on at all in 2019 is my stained glass series I'm doing. I started with Tinkerbell, wasn't really motivated, but now I'm like, okay, just start stitching and the others will come rolling. So I will insert a picture of what it will look like here. This is where it was in the beginning of 2019, and this is where it's at now. So hope to get 5 days work in on this and just chug along. I want to try a new method of stitching full coverage, so I will use this one to try it out. It's actually Boss Daughter, the daughter of Handwork Maniac, I think she calls herself on flosstube. And she's doing a snake method, column by column, up and down the page. And I actually think I want to try and do that because this is really confetti heavy. So I don't think I will get any big page line by doing it that way. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. The good news is now there's only WIPs that I actually have worked on in 2019 left to show. Let me see. Next up is the Black Pearl. This was started for Link is My Homeboy, Sal, Heather. On flosstube, the 10th of October 2018. I will insert a picture of what it will look like and where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. She did hers with a purple conversion in the hair. I have converted all the floss into floss I had in my stash. So this black one is a Silks for You. These red ones are Victoria Motto samplers, and this blue one, I can't remember which one I picked. So, but I really like how it turns out. The skin is also Victoria Motto sampler. Lace something, I can't remember that name is. It was Floss of the Month. So that's where I am with that one. And this one stitches up really fast, so if I just sit down and do it, then again, I could finish it. But I'm not focusing on finishing that right now, so we'll just see. Next up is my epic storybook princesses. By the way, the fabric on the black pearl is by the Primitive Hair, and it's on an XU design 46 count in cinnamon, I believe. And I have found that I prefer 46 count over 56 count, so I think I have maybe 2 or 3 more 56 count fabric in my stash, so I will use those. But after that, I don't think I will go as small as 56 count, just because of the easiness of it. The 46 count it's much easier. So yeah, over to my epic storybook princesses. Started in the 17th of November 2018. I think I actually started it before that, ripped it out, redid it, restarted over and over, re-dyed the fabric and re-dyed the fabric, and you know the story. So here is a picture of what it will look like and where it was in the beginning of 2019. And here I am now. And it looks really good. So even though I considered putting this on a break, since Cloud's Factory are starting to do more of the Disney patterns, I hope maybe they will do all of them in this style, so I can do all the Disney movies in chronological order. I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, this is on a 18 count Ada that I hand dyed myself and used chlorine on, and it doesn't smell like chlor anymore. The borders I have converted myself into Silks for You that I had. I'm stitching it 101 on 18 count, and in reality this has shrunken, so I think it's more like 20 count. Yeah, Ada. So the only thing I might consider to do, I was changing up the vignettes, but since there is a big chance I am going to do, if Cloud's Factory comes out with all the movies, I think maybe I will do those, because I originally wanted to do them chronological order, the way you read, when Cloud's Factory has done them column by column down. So we'll see. I will work on the borders and decide when I get to it. But it looks really good, so I think I will continue with this one. So this haven't been put on a break. So yeah, then we are diving into my No Frogging Sal. This is the second one that has been put on our break. I have worked 2 days on this in 2 different months. And it was put on break, taken out again for 1 challenge, and then put back in again. So this, there isn't a picture of what it will look like. And I will insert the picture where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. And here it is now. And you can see this crazy challenge. So we had to do 25 stitches wide every other row for 20 rows to stitch for a semi-sign stitcher. So I did it on this one since I don't care too much right now about this. I don't know if it will continue. I have to see it completely finished, but so far I'm not loving it. So yeah, this is put on break, and maybe it will build out again for another crazy challenge. Who knows? Who knows? So that's that one. Next up is my Lion King by Disney Dreams. Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World was so kind to gift this to me. I have started it on 25 or 28 count easy guide fabric. I managed to stitch it in the wrong place, so I had to rip everything out and re-stitch it when I had done like most of this section right here. But here's where it was in the start of 2019, and here it is now. So here is top of Mufasa's head. So yeah, sorry. This is starting to be a long one, and I have stopped multiple times this video and restarted it and stuff like that. So I get, it has been a long day filming, let's just say that. So I'm starting to get tired. So yeah, that was my Lion King. I converted the floss also myself to DMC. Next up is my Raccoon Cabin by Frosty Forest, and I can spoil that is finished. The Raccoon Cabin. The Frosty Forest series is not finished, but I am currently starting on the second pattern I'm going to do, and which one that is, you will have to wait and see. I believe I found out that the 30th of August, the video for the new I'm starting, it's the 30th of August, which is a nice date because the 31st of August is my birthday. So for you, it will almost be my birthday start. So that's kind of nice. But that one you won't see until finished, and I will most likely cover up what I have done and show you the Raccoon Cabin part when it is done on the A to C Stitch With Me. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I am doing a series on my channel called A to C Stitch With Me, where I stitch everything I stitch on that pattern on camera. I'm doing the whole series on one big piece of fabric. So the Raccoon Cabin was the first one in the series, and that's finished. So I have started the second one. So that's exciting. A little bit of spoilers for you that follow my series, but at the same time, I think maybe it's nice for you to know that I actually did finish. It will be finished. It just takes some time with one video each week. So, but look forward to August. There is a lot of exciting stuff happening in July, August with that series, including a new technique. So next up is Santa's Secret by Dimensions Gold Collections. I will insert a picture of where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. And this is where I'm at now. So this is stitched on 18 count Aida that came with the kit. It's very stiff Aida, but it's softening up as I'm working on it, so not too bad. And I'm using the colorful colors and everything. I'm just using the kit with this one. And this is the one I did the first time couching. So I really liked how it turns out, and I found that I really do like couching, so I might do more of that in the future if I find something where that could be nice to do. Santa's Secret was started in December. The same was Lion King. Because now in December of 2018, I know I'm going to do No New Starts 2019. So I'm doing a bunch of WIPs, half stitch starting, but not putting them in my WIP list. And I'm starting 4 WIPs because my raccoon cabin was started originally in December of 2018. So yeah. And next up is my Magical Night by Teresa Wensler. Going to look like that in the end. And this is where I was in the beginning of 2019. And this is where I'm, wrong way. This is where I'm at now. With all the floss going all the directions. So you got a sneak peek of my back right there. So yeah, started sleigh. So it only got a few days of works, but with all the challenges, this one is a little bit hard to stitch on because it's I need to be in a mood where I just sit down and focus on just stitching and loving the stitching, because these more complicated patterns, I do love to stitch them, and they're just not very good to do when doing challenges where I need a certain amount of stitches. But I am done with the ultimate yearly challenges for magical stitches, or there is one I'm going to redo. I asked a Ravenclaw prefect to look at what I had done, and she said one of those I had done was very, very weak, so I'm going to redo that. But I'm almost completely done with the ultimate yearly tasks, and that means when I'm done with the monthly or bookish extra credits, the reason I don't say monthly is because now the books last 2 months each. So when I'm done with those and the homework for magical stitches is done, then I will, and I don't have other challenges because I do a lot of other challenges also, then I will pull out like magical stitches and just stitch on that, focus a little bit. When the extra credit is done, the homework is done, the semi-sane stitcher is done, when I have finished my Lady and the Tiger, it's like, it's down on the list, but it's on the list. Next up is the wedding sampler I did for my cousin. I will insert a picture of where it was in the beginning of 2019 and the finished picture right here. Then I started my Snowy Old Snowman by Mill Hill. I will insert a picture of where it was in the beginning of 2019 here. And here it is finished. I finished this one. The wedding sampler, I haven't written down when I finished. I think it was in February. And I think I finished this one at the same time. Yeah, this was finished the 8th of February and the wedding sampler was finished the 9th. So that was nice getting those finishes. And that concludes my 2018 WIPs. Now we only have 2019 left, the one I started then. Okay. 27th of January 2019, I started my... That wasn't a good way to see that one. You're going to have to see it through this clear plastic because if I take this out, it ruins everything inside here. So I'm just holding it really, really tight when showing you. This is Cinderella by Mirabilia. Stacy from Atlantica Dream Stitches was so kind to loan this to me, and I was also allowed to use everything in the kit. So that's exciting. So this is stitched on the call for 32 count Spired Smoky Pearl linen that came with the kit. I will insert a picture of where... No, I don't need to insert a picture because it wasn't originally on my WIP Parade. So here I am now. This I have done since the end of January. I haven't stitched on this these last months, so I hope to come back to it. I also, to ensure some stitching on it, this border color I actually added to my bingo WIP list, those two colors. So I know I'm getting some stitches in on this one. But I hope to get at least this section here is repeated on all four corners, so I hope to finish that and work my way down here. And also this section with the tower and granary in the back, I hope to get this done and maybe start on the dress. So I'm stitching it where I railroad each and every stitch, so it goes a little bit slower, but I do love to work on it. And the reason, because I'm so particular about it, that's the reason it haven't been pulled much out, because again, doing all the challenges, it's not good for the ones I enjoy just to sit and stitch the progress of the stitching. I'm sorry, I'm hitting you. I can also show you, I'm planning on doing this twice. And yes, you might think I'm crazy. I haven't finished the first one and I'm planning on doing a second one. So it's still in my plans. I just need to be good about it. So we'll see now that the Ultimate Yearly Challenges is done. I will just see how good I am at pulling out the Cinderella one, and I might start this one. So the second Cinderella. It's on Moss Rose Opal, 2nd edition by the Crafty Kitten. And you can see it's just a half stitch start right there. But I'm putting this on here, so if I do start it, we have a starting point for the WIP Parade in the end of the year, because I am doing a WIP parade at the end of the year also. Even though right now, looking at the pile I need to clean up, I'm not looking forward to it, so maybe I should focus on whipping down so there's less to show you. So yeah. That one was loud because, as you saw, the second one, it's half stitch started. And I set a rule that has half stitch started WIPs, I was allowed to start. Next up is Fantasy World by Heaven and Earth Designs. I will put in a picture of what it will look like here. And this is where I'm at. Just started on the first page, working on the sky. Was started for Adele's birthday, and I had half stitch started this, so I didn't cheat when starting it, so that's nice. And it only got those, I think, 5 days of stitching. That's the only thing I have stitched on that because it's not a priority. Next up is when I started and finished. So I don't know why it's here in the list, but it's here. It's the house number 3 in the Soho series by Blue Ribbons Design. And it was already it was started with this heart right here done, and I needed it for the specialty stitches, so I started it. Then I needed it for the house, then the house suddenly didn't count. I got angry, so I just went gangbusters on it and finished it. And I'm using none of the colorful colors. I have converted to just floss I had in my stash. So that's that one. Next up, and last one, if you don't count the new section of the Frosty Forest series I have started, because I do, since I'm doing one at a time on those, I have put the date I originally started the Frosty Forest series, but I'm counting each section as their own, which is different from what I have switched to doing with all the other ones I'm doing as a series. But it's more for me to keep track of when a section was started and when a section was finished. So yeah, the last one started in 2019 and have not been finished is Fairy Tales Land 2 by Soda Stitch. This is now my only Soda Stitch pattern, so that's nice. For a while there, I had both this and A Legend of the Blue Sea. So yeah, that's what it will look like. Here is where I am now. I'm doing the skin 1/1. It's stitched on a 25 count granite by Spired, 2/2, except for the skin 1/1. And as you can see, I try to backstitch a little bit as I go. My plan is when I finish each like part, I will also backstitch it so it's completely finished. But to get some variation, I have counted over to the next sections that are coming, mainly because I didn't think I would have enough colors to use on my bingo board, so this one was one I was thinking about using for that. But I didn't really need it, so, but it's nice to have counted over, so it's, when I finish this, it's easy to jump over and start the other ones. And I'm thinking of working my way over and then work my way down, I think. So I'm just here, almost finished with her dress, and I need the feet 1/1. I'm backstitching and then she is done. So I really love working on this, and sometimes it's not the best for challenges, but in sections where I do 1/1 skin, that goes so quick and there's so many stitches, and I get so many stitches in a small area. It goes really quick, so those areas are good for challenges, and parts where I was in the dress and the hair also is good for challenges. So this will definitely be pulled out more at a later date. Okay, I'm back. I got something in my eye and had to stop recording. Yeah, plans 2019, the rest of the year. My stitch 9 pieces I want to finish. I have left Lion King, Escape Butterflies Galore, Temperature Garden, and the mouse sliding. So I have 4 left to do. One of them is really a big one. So, and also on top of that, my priority is to finish Lady and the Tiger. That is like the main things I'm going to focus on. And there will also be some smaller things like 5 days on all the WIPs I didn't stitch on so far in 2019. I made this bingo board. So when this section is finished, I have written that I'm going to have a finish that is not a legal finish. I think it's called the Cathedral Woodland Goddess by Mirabilia. It's one of the new ones. If I manage to finish Escape Butterflies Galore and Lady and the Tiger before my birthday, then in September I'm going to start that Mirabilia as my birthday start, and I'm going to do it together with Adele. And that is one of the things I am going to let myself do as a pat on the shoulder for being a good girl, basically. And also because I am going to be even more strict with my No New Starts 2019, because I am going to prolong it and do it. So that is one of the exceptions for actually continuing doing No Starts 2019, because I said originally 6 months and then we'll see. So I had a rule that I could start gifts and stuff I had half stitch started. Gifts will still be up there, and also extra small patterns like coasters and stuff like that is going to be, I am allowed to start whenever I want, because I have plans for that and I'm not feeling like stitching the smaller stuff. So if I get tired of the bigger stuff, I can pull up one of those small ones and just stitch on those. So those will be allowed to start as many as I want. And the ones I have half stitch started, I am not allowing myself to start. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's basically to reduce myself from not starting more big patterns and focus on what I have. Exception is that Mirabilia. There is 4 more I really want to start. So my thinking is, if I can finish each row going this way, I am allowing myself one of those starts. And it's the Sleepy Hollow by Tiny Modernist. It's the ink circle map, where you roll a dice to do the map. And now I totally forgot which one the other ones were. So yeah, I had 2 more and I didn't write it down because I was sure I would remember, and I don't. So that's how it goes. But yeah, since I haven't said them out loud, I'm gonna make a rule that those last 2 starts I want to do has to be something I have half stitch started. I think it already is something I have half stitch started, but that's the only time I'm allowed to do that. Oh wait, yeah, one of those is SK Pocahontas from Heaven and Earth Designs. That is one I want to start. Because that was a gift from lovely Amanda from Stitched Pixels here on flosstube, and I really want to start that one, even though it's a full coverage one. So that's also why I try to get the full coverage ones done, because I have so many I want to start, basically. So that is my plans for 2019. 2020, yes, I have started to think about it and what I'm going to do. And most likely, I know I want to WIP down. And I don't know where my sweet spot is with WIPs, because each time I think about it, I'm like, oh, I want a supersized, I want a regular, I want a mini, I want an SK or QS going at a time when it comes to full coverage. And then I'm thinking I want more thematic WIPs, like I want a fandom based, I want a Christmas, Halloween, a Disney one, and so on and so forth. So I'm struggling with deciding what categories to use approximately for my WIPs. But lately I have been thinking, in a few months' time, I usually get around to max 3 full coverage pieces, if I'm going to get some good progress in on those. So I'm thinking going forward, I want to have 3 full coverage ones. I'm also thinking I want at least one that is a kit. Either if it's a full coverage that is a kit, or if it's not a full coverage that is a kit. So that one might not be a 4th WIP, because it's I just want a kit on the go, because it's easy to take out and stitch. And then I am thinking of having maybe around 5 non-full coverage projects, so I can have a fairly big variety of what I'm doing. And the exception will always be the extra small patterns. And when I say extra smalls, I have made my own I have just made my own view over categorizing my WIPs in sizes. So everything under 50 by 50 stitches I call an extra small. So yeah, everything under 50 by 50s is extra small. I might show you the full view later on. I can't remember in my head because I have changed it up. I know Heather from Luca-s My Homeboy did one. I used that as a frame, but I didn't really like it because it every time is double in size for each section, and I don't feel that is really equivalent to project, because doing 100 by 100 instead of 200 by 200, that is a massive difference in stitches. So I basically have made it so it goes up a little bit. For me, what I feel is correct when differentiating sizes on stitches, and that is made out from how fast I stitch certain WIPs at certain counts. So yeah, and I'm using more categories too. I think she has small, medium, large, and crazy big ones, something like that. I have made more. I have extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, epic, and I think maybe crazy. And my full coverage ones do not categorize under that category. They have their own category, because 50 by 50 full coverage is not the same as 50 by 50 non-full coverage. It's double the amount of stitches on a full coverage, approximately. So differentiating between those. So I might show that another time. If there's interest, let me know below. So with those categories I have made up, I have also made finish this much, be allowed to start one WIP of this or that size. So basically what it's doing is I have tried to, like, if I finish, I think the ratio is if I finish one small and one medium, I'm allowed to start one medium WIP. That's approximately the ratio on the I don't know what to call it. Be allowed to start things in 2020 to try and WIP down. So I think in 2020 I will still be strict. I will still try and not start a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to say it's going to be a no new starts. But I want to WIP down, and I think I have found that around maybe 8 WIPs will be a good thing, and we'll just see. Maybe in half a year, when we get to the end of 2019, I have changed my mind and I don't care about all the WIPs I have, as long as I have a lot of different WIPs with a lot of variation, because that fits challenges better. So we'll see. Right now, since I have seen there is 3 WIPs I haven't touched at all in 2019, actually 4, if you don't count the one I put on a break, then I have too many WIPs. So means I need to WIP down at least 3 WIPs. Because in a half a year period, I want to have touched and made some good progress on all the WIPs I have. And that's what I'm planning to try and do in 2020. So we'll see when things get closer, if I'm starting to get tired of challenges or if I love challenges even more. Because as long as I do challenges, I don't really care about how many WIPs I have. That's actually a good thing to have a lot of WIPs, because I have something that fits everything. So yeah, we'll just see when we get there. I hope you enjoyed this WIP Parade. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you enjoyed and had a great time. And it's summer. My husband has his vacation. We say holiday when we're just off work, and we say vacation if we actually are traveling somewhere. So, and I have heard that flosstube world use both those to mean both those things, so I'm not sure. But my husband is on holiday. My son on Friday has his last day in kindergarten before his summer holiday. So when I get time to film will be when I get time to film and give an update. There has been crazy amount of stuff going on in here. Our roof was leaking, so we're currently trying to fix that. Luckily we can do that ourselves, but it's a little bit tricky because it's up on the roof, and it's on the place on the roof where there is 9 meters down if you fall down from the roof, so it's a little bit complicated to do. We also had a little animal that wanted to live for free in our house and eat our plastic tubes under the sink and our trash and stuff like that. So Mr. Rat, he came for a visit and has done some damage. So we have found out where he has been able to enter the house. We had to rip out all our front porch. And there has been a lot of trouble with that because it was bolted to our house and the bolts wouldn't budge. So so we're currently putting out some rat, mouse, stopping things to the wall, so we will not get any more animals in the house. And then we need to think about fixing the pipes and stuff that the rat has chewed on. It's not very critical, but it's something that needs to be fixed. But we don't want to fix it before we know we have taken care of the problem that is not getting back into the house. He's luckily not living in the walls. He just have come for a visit and maybe slept over a day or two and then run back out again. And that's we had professionals there, and they said that is typical for the rats, especially in this area, because they usually have a lot of places to go and eat. They have places that they put out rat poison in the area here. It's something to do with the sewer system a little bit longer away here that attracts a lot of rats. So they have stations with food for rats that's also rat poisoning, so to try and kill off a lot of the rats. So they usually don't stay inside the houses because of that reason. So the rats usually run back and forth, and they usually just, maybe if they have made a nice place to sleep, they sleep over one night, something like that, and run back out again. And now when it's warm, they usually don't come into the house, so we really need to close up our house so we don't get any more rats. On the plus side, on the other side of the house, there was also an animal living under our porch, and that one is a nice one because we found that there is a hedgehog under there, and those are amazing creatures to have in your garden because they keep away snails, they keep away rats and mice and spiders. We still have a lot of spiders back there, but I think that poor little hedgehog has a lot to deal with mice, rats, and snails. Actually, our neighbor have had trouble with rats on the downside, so he was surprised we had trouble at the front. But most likely that is explained by the hedgehog living under our porch at the back of the yard. So we hope my husband didn't scare him away because he removed some planks, and that's when he found the hedgehog. And we hope that the hedgehog come back to live under our porch in the garden because that's something I want to have in my garden, living there. I don't care. I don't like rats living in my garden, coming into my house and eating on my house. So yeah, and as you know, I had a friend that passed away, and yeah, so right now, I just feel like life sucks most of the time, basically. My son has been a little bit sick, and yeah, just stuff like that, life and unexpected things in life. So get this summer over with, secure our house from mice and rats, and hopefully 2019 won't change for the better. So that was a tiny update in life. I didn't plan on it, but there you go, you got it. So when I will be back to film is when I will be back to film. A to Z Stitch with Me's you will see until the end of August. That is secured. I just need to edit the last videos after I have edited this one, because this one will be a massive editing job. So even though it's the 1st of July, you might not see this until later in the week. It's Monday, so maybe around Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday, something like that. Hopefully before my son is home. Or my son is having his holiday, because then I don't have much time to sit on my computer. So yeah, thank you all so much for the support and you being here. You are amazing. I'm gonna continue doing updates from around August at a regular rate again, if not anything else happens in my life that it's pulling me down, weighing me down. Yeah, so I hope in August to be back to normal at the end of August, and do regular updates and keep going with those A to Z Stitch with Me's. I used approximately half a year to finish the raccoon cabin, so maybe half a year to finish the next one also. We can hope. So yeah, I will will see you around, hopefully sometimes this summer if I get the time, if not in August. And I'll see you later. Goodbye.